Hello. You're welcome to this month's webinar. A happy new month to you all. My name is Dr. Oyime Hamilton, the founder of Women Lighthouse. And this month, basically, we're focusing on how we can build financial independence as women. And to join us in this interesting conversation today we're talking about how to invest in real estate as a low and middle income earner. And I have a special guest with me today. Her name is Esther O'Rourke, and I'll quickly introduce her and get her in. Yay, Esther, you're welcome. So I have with me Esther O'Rourke. Ekemini. She's a lawyer, she's an entrepreneur, and she's also a real estate developer and the co-founder of Resta Bridge and my partner. And she has built a reputation in connecting individuals and businesses to premium property opportunities, from spearheading developments at the Verge apartment to providing tailor-made property acquisition through Resta Bridge Abuja.
Okay.
So she's committed to bridging the gap in the real estate market, and she's
Babe, is this internet on?
basically going to guide us through how we can invest in real estate as a low and middle income earner. You're welcome, Esther. Please confirm you can hear me.
Yes, I can. I'm so sorry. I
No,
didn't
it's
even
fine.
know that.
It's
My
fine.
internet is bad. Sorry about that.
Okay, no problem. I guess it's the weather. It's been raining everywhere. So
Yes.
basically, I have known you right from when we were in school at University of Calabar, and while you practice as a lawyer, and now you are into real estate. So
Yes.
commonly, we know that when it comes to investments in real estate, a lot of people believe that it's only for high income earners and people in quotes that can afford it. But we're here to debunk that myth today, and we're glad to have you join us on this conversation to guide us basically as women on how we can invest in real estate irrespective of how much we earn. So you have the floor, and after that we'll ask you some questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Ma. I consider it a huge privilege that you brought me on the show today to talk to women about how to invest in real estate, especially if they are low income earners. Yes, it is true that um, we've always believed that real estate is for the rich. And the average Nigerian believes that if you're not earning in millions every single month, what business do you really have buying real estate? If you don't have millions of naira sitting in your accounts that you're not using to solve your family issues, you're not using to take care of your children, that you're not using to take care of your spouse, are you why exactly are you even conceiving the idea of investing in real estate? It's something that is prevalent in the Nigerian ecosystem, and I think that this class is so important because real estate investment or real estate investing as a chore has evolved over time. Maybe it was true that so many years ago you needed a lot of money to invest in real estate, but right now, just like every other thing, the industry has evolved. People have sought solutions because people have founders, particularly developers, have sat down to think about the fact that they would love for low income earners or middle income earners to actually invest in real estate. And because they want to expand their market share, right? They have thought about this question that we are asking in this class today, and they have provided a solution. And so in this class, we're going to be talking about some of the solutions that are present in today's real estate market, especially in Nigeria. And the first one that I'm going to talk about this evening is fractional real estate. From the word fractional, it just means in parts, right? In different parts, in parts. When you divide something into fractions, in primary school, we we were taught about what a fraction is. So fractional real estate simply means if you cannot own the entire pie, if you cannot own the entire cake, at least you can own a part of it. And at the end of the day, you get returns from it. So with fractional real estate, it's not really about, remember, this class is about investing. So we're not really talking about building a house that you and your family will live in when we're talking about fractional real estate. We're actually talking about how you can invest in real estate in such a manner that it brings you return, either monthly, yearly, um, once in 2 years, once in 5 years, or every 10 years, or perpetually. So, fractional real estate simply means that if you do not have the ability to own a plot of land, you and 5 of your friends can come together and buy a plot of land. Now, the most important part of this conversation is in the purpose. Because remember, when we are talking about real estate investment, we must always ask ourselves the simple question: why am I investing right now? Am I investing in this property because I want to live in this location? Am I investing here because I believe that a lot of development is coming to this location? So maybe after 5 years, I can sell off whether it's a piece of land or a house in this location. So when it comes to fractional real estate, the purpose is the second part. You're not buying that piece of real estate together with your friends because you want to live there. I mean, how many of you and your friends can live in one house? You're all married. You cannot live in one house. So if you are probably doing fractional real estate with your friends, you're doing it because you want to use it as maybe yearly annual rental income or short-term rental income, which is what we know as shortlets right now. So if it is a land, you would actually be buying this land for two purposes: as an investment property, either because after a period of time you want to sell off the land. If you bought the land at 1 million naira, right, you and 4 of your friends brought 200,000 naira each. 200 times 5 is 1 million naira. You put together 1 million naira, you bought that piece of land. After 3 years, the land has appreciated from 1 million naira to 3 million naira. What does this mean? It means that when you sell off this property at 3 million naira, you are going to share the profits proportionate to the amount you invested. If you buy that plot of land and you build a house on it, none of you is going to stay in the house. You're going to build that house either because you want to put it out for annual rental, you look for tenants, you put it in the property. When you collect rent every single year, if the rent for that property is 1.5 million, you are going to share 1.5 million to 5 of your friends, right? Based on how much each person contributed to the investment. If you're using that property for short-term rental purposes, or what we call shortlets, right, you are going to look at how much this property is generating for you, either monthly or quarterly or annually. And then when you take out your expenditure for that property, you would share the profits. The goal of fractional real estate is for you to own a piece of the pie and get a piece of the profits. It's as simple as ABC. And the question you would ask at this point is, how legal is this? Is this even legal? Is this even accepted by law? Can 3 people buy a property together? Absolutely. This is one thing I want you to understand. Every single thing that you're doing that has to do with real estate, the first person you should reach out to is a lawyer. The second person is a surveyor. So if you're asking the question, can you and your friends come together and buy a property together, the answer is 100%. The second phase of that answer is, please go and look for a lawyer, because you need a tight contract. So that maybe when you buy the property and then you say, okay, it's a rental property. Okay, so the tenant is going to be paying rent to Mrs. A's account, and then Mrs. A is supposed to remit to the 4 other friends. And then when Mrs. A gets the money, the rent, Mrs. A decides that that is when she's pregnant, and then she needs money for CS, and then she carries the money to go and do CS. What happens in that circumstance is why you need a lawyer from the beginning to draft your contracts for you. So remember that I have said as point number one way that you can invest in real estate as a middle income middle income earner, is by participating in what we call fractional real estate. It doesn't have to be complex. I'm going to tell you something in 30 seconds. The first thing is that when it comes to fractional real estate, the first set of people you should look up to is people around you, your friends, your circle. If you don't have a circle as a woman, that's why you have communities like the Women Lighthouse community. That's why you have community of women trying to empower each other. I mean, 2 months ago, we're literally just talking about how we can empower ourselves as women. This is one of the ways to drive women empowerment in groups. If you are not earning enough to be able to own a property by yourself, especially if you're not looking to own a property that you want to live in personally, you just want the bragging rights, you want the profits, you want the ROI, fractional real estate is for you. The second thing I was going to tell you is that, remember at the beginning of this class, I said that a lot of founders, every day, entrepreneurs are thinking of solutions to problems that exist in our society. So when we talk about the fact that you need a lot of capital to enter the real estate market, the barrier of entry for the real estate market is quite high. A lot of entrepreneurs have actually thought about this and say, oh, that's true. How do we make this easier for people? And that is why we now have registered fractional real estate platforms. There are fractional real estate platforms that allow you to, with as low as 50,000 naira. I even know one that's with as low as 25,000 naira. You can co-own a plot of land, I think in Lagos State, right? And then they tell you how much potential ROI you're going to make at the end of the year. There are lots of fractional real estate platforms. I am someone who is big on research. I encourage people to do their personal research. So when you attend a class like this and you hear things like this, I just say go back. The internet is a free place. The internet, with a tap of a finger, you can get a lot of information. You simply go online and type fractional real estate platforms in Nigeria, fractional real estate apps in Nigeria. Most of these people have applications, they have websites, they have things that you can read up and then see how you can get involved. But by all means, in 2025, where you can invest in real estate with even as low as 100,000 naira, you should never be caught as a member of the Women's Lighthouse community saying that you don't have an investment in real estate, because with the smallest amount. So I've spoken about fractional real estate, right? The second type of investment I'm going to talk about is land banking, right? So if you're a middle income earner, again, I'm going to say that developers have found a way to solve this problem. So if you're buying land from an individual and that land costs 5 million naira. If you're buying it from an individual, 90% of the time they're going to want their money, in bulk at once. But if you're buying from real estate companies, some companies even allow you pay for as long as 12 months for land. Some companies allow you pay for as long as 6 months for a plot of land. So, and then the requirements, the initial deposit requirements recently has gone as low as 20%. So if a plot of land is 1 million naira, you just need to drop a deposit of 200,000 naira, right? Which you could have saved over time and then spread your balance for up to 12 months. So you end up seeing that maybe in a month, you might be paying below 100,000 naira, depending on the cost of the property that you're buying. So land banking, and so what is land banking? Land banking is simply going to the bush that people have not gotten to. In Abuja right now, or maybe in the last 1 year, there's been a lot of buzz around certain areas. For example, maybe Buzape 2, there's been a lot of buzz around Buzape 2. There's been a lot of buzz around Apo. A lot of these areas that are inside that people have done. Even Kuje, that people that we used to think was not Abuja, we used to laugh about people that live in Kuje. Right now, I think just in the last 1 week, I'm seeing land in Kuje for 10 million for 300 square meter. I'm seeing land in Kuje for 5 million. I mean, this was like last year or 2 years ago. People were literally begging people to come out and to go and buy land in Kuje for 1 million naira. And we're like, oh my God, Kuje, is that not prison? So basically, land banking is, people have not gotten to this location yet. And that's what makes you an investor. An investor in the real estate industry is someone who spots opportunity before the general populace recognizes that opportunity. So with land banking, a lot of developers, and I must say this in this training, make sure that when you're buying land from real estate companies, you do your due diligence. I can assure you, like our former president, I can assure you that there is a lot of scam going on in the real estate industry right now, especially when it comes to real estate companies. Some companies are selling properties that they do not have. So I encourage you, I always encourage you, keep your lawyer here, keep your surveyor here. Keep your lawyer here, keep your surveyor here. It's possible to have a lawyer, but then if you don't have a surveyor, they will give you documents. You will go to ages, you research the documents will be legit, but then the document is not for the particular land that you're seeing, that they are taking you to. There are a lot of people that fall into scam. So make sure that when you're doing land banking, and why am I saying this? You would imagine, I mean, you're just talking about investment and then you're talking land banking. Why not just tell us the numbers instead of talking about scam? The truth is, when it comes to land banking, you're not using the land immediately. So the probability of being scammed goes from 10% to 50%. Every time you buy, the best way to avoid to reduce property scam is to buy properties that you're going to take possession of immediately, and then you're going to start doing something. Take possession, build your fence, do this, do that, start building, right? That's how you can know if there's a dispute. But if you buy a land that in the next 2 years, you won't do anything on the land because it's land banking, right? You're not doing anything on the land. You probably won't even take physical possession of the land. You just say, oh, I have my documents. When you now go 2 years later, you'll come hear stories say, there was no land. So I tell you, land banking is a very important, is a very serious way for you to invest in the real estate market. However, remember that I said that you have to be really careful. Be really careful that you do not fall into scam. So I've talked about fractional real estate and I've talked about land banking. Let me just take a break to hear from my host. If you'd like me to continue at this point.
Yes, I will. But before you go on, please still throw more light into how land banking works. Like you took your time to explain how the fractional real estate works, but the land
Yeah.
banking, yes, how does it work?
Okay, so how does it work? It's simply buying a plot of land or plots of land, a plot of land in a location, and then leaving it and reselling at a future time. So probably you go to a location where land is cheap. Now, there are certain factors that determine where you do land banking. Remember, I always say that, or I said earlier that you are an investor in this situation. So you're looking at locations where people have not gotten to yet. I don't mean places where people are not staying. I mean in terms of it has not had a lot of traffic yet. But then because you're looking at this place from the eye of an investor, you feel that within the shortest possible time, whether 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, people are going to be moving to this location, either because government is bringing something to that location, or there's a lot of general buzz around that location, right? It really happens every time in a certain city, every time in a certain city, every year in every city, there is a buzz around certain locations. There is always a buzz. So sometimes the buzz starts slowly, momentum starts building, right? So you land bank, that means land banking is gotten from the word land and banking now. So you are saving your money in land instead of keeping it in the bank. You're simply saying that I'm using my money to buy this plot of land at 1 million naira so that I can make profit from it when I resell. Remember, when you talk about land banking, you only make money when you resell. So sometimes there is a lot of fictitious appreciation in value. So you can buy property from a real estate company and say, oh, you bought this property 2 days ago at 1 million naira. 2 days later, the property is now worth 50 million naira. Bring me a buyer to sell off this land and get my money. There's no buyer. So you actually make money when you sell the property, when you resell the property. So your goal with land banking is to buy low and sell high. Simple. Simple mathematics. You buy low and you sell high. It's the same thing as when you're trading stocks. You buy stocks at 15 naira, you sell at 16 naira. If you buy 1,000 units, you make 10 naira times 1,000 units. Basically, that's what happens. And that is why I'm sure that you hear a lot of people who preach land banking say, when you are buying plots of land for land banking, you don't buy one plot. But I say buy what you can afford. If you have money for land, one plot, start there. If you have for two, buy two. If you have for three, the only reason why people preach for you to buy multiple plots of land when you're doing land banking is because you make more money when you buy more, when you sell off more plots. So if you had bought one plot for 1 million naira, and when you're reselling at 2 million naira, you have only made 1 million. But if you had bought three, it means you're making 3 million naira. So it just goes back to how much capital you have. The mathematics of land banking is you buy low, you sell high. You're banking your money in land instead of keeping it at the bank. So most times it's majorly money you have no need for in within a period of time. So maybe you have been saving money for 5 years, and instead of just leaving this money in the bank for the next 5 years, you'd say, okay, let me just put it in plots of land. Pata pata, if you do me 30% or 50% or 100% or even 200%, depending on the location. When it comes to land banking, the word that you have to sing to yourself every night is location. Location is the principal thing in land banking. You could do land banking and you could be Mrs. A doing land banking, and then Mrs. B. Mrs. A could buy in a location that after 2 years, she gets 200% profit. Mrs. B could be buying a location that after 2 years, she gets 500% profit. It really depends on the location. So you have to be sure of where people are going in the nearest possible future, depending on the development of your city. Right now, for example, Abuja is expanding beyond, the normal already existing developed communities that we know. So Abuja is stretching. That is why people are now going to the outskirts to buy properties, because maybe the next 5 years, the next 10 years, right, those outskirts that everybody is running away from now would be the in demand locations. I think it was like maybe Maitama 2, what we now know as Maitama 2, right? Now, when started selling, this village. But right now, look at how much properties are selling there. Some people bought multiple plots in those locations 5 years ago. Today, they are selling off. So that's what land banking is and how it really works.
Yeah, thank you. You can go on.
Okay, so
Thanks.
the third part of this class is I'll just be talking about you investing generally in projects, depending on how much you have, right? So another way that you can invest in real estate is to actually buy properties that you would utility properties. Basically, utility properties are properties that you're going to use. So it's either land, if you're buying land, land that you can build your own personal home, or if you're buying a home that you can live in, or you can use for business, like short lets, like annual rental. Now, let me talk about two things. Remember that this is basically just similar to the model that I explained under fractional real estate. The only difference is that here you own the house, it's yours. You're not sharing it with anybody, unless maybe you're co purchasing this property with your husband, right? So you own the property alone. You determine what you want to use it for. Most times you can build a house, right, and live in it if it's a land, or you can decide to sell it off later. Now, one of the downsides of fractional real estate is that you are working as a group. So sometimes you do not, not sometimes, all the time, you can't make independent decisions. Of course, you can't just wake up and say, I want to sell this land, unlike if it was your personal property. So you have to consult with your co-investors, and then all of you have to come to an understanding and an agreement. But in this third option, you're actually buying properties personally. You're buying properties by yourself, and then you're doing whatever you want to do with it. So it's either you're buying them to hold for a period of time, and then you're going to resell these properties after a period of time, or you are buying them because you want to build your personal home for your kids to be able to have the freedom, for you to be free from paying rent, whatever your goal is. Or you can actually build this property so that you can utilize it for commercial purposes. Commercial purposes would mainly include using it for either annual or short-term rental income. Now, short-term rental income is one of the major ways that people are making money from real estate right now, what we call short-let apartments. But honestly, as someone who owns short-let apartments, I can tell you that it's very capital intensive. You need to have capital, because trust me, you could have a house. You think you have put money in your house until you want to run a short-let, and you know that, and you now find out that for you to do the interior decor for short-let apartment alone, oh my God, when the money is leaving your account, you'll be shedding tears. So you one thing I can warn you ahead of time is that setting up short-lets is capital intensive. But the beautiful thing about owning short-let apartments is that it gives you cash flow. Now, when you are an investor, one of the things you want to think about is cash flow. When you buy a plot of land, remember I told you, you make money when you resell it. So this could take you 1 year, this could take you 2 years, it could take you 3 years. The question you must ask yourself as a middle income earner is, what happens every day? You are spending money on transport, on feeding, on school fees, and blah blah blah. Every month you need something that can give you cash flow, and short-let apartment is that. For example, a two-bedroom apartment in Abuja goes from, depending on the location, between 80,000 to 250,000, right? So imagine you owned one of those. Of course, there is like the running cost of this apartment, but at the end of the day, I mean, you should be walking away with at least 40% profit from every booking. That's a lot of cash flow for you. Some properties can give you returns anything between 2 to 5 million naira, right, in over gross revenue, and then you talk about your net profits. So if a property is giving you, let's just say, so bad, a property is giving you 500k cash flow monthly, that's after, not gross now, net, 500k net, that's monthly, that's a lot of money that you can just be using to source your bills. So this is actually one of the other ways that you can invest as a middle income earner. You can invest in short-lets. I like to talk about the pros and cons of everything. So I'm going to tell you that right now the market is a bit saturated. So you might want to put in a lot more work into your interior, consult people who are already into short-let apartments. Don't just wake up and go and build a house and say, I'm building a short-let, because you might make a mistake of the location, a mistake with the location, and then at the end of the day, you're not getting bookings. People are booking you maybe from Airbnb, and then when they get to the location, they're like, oh no, I don't like this location, and because they have 50 other options, right? So location is always a major factor when it comes to setting up short-let apartments. But trust me, it is a cash flow machine. This is what a lot of real estate investors in Nigeria right now are using to get cash flow monthly. I can tell you that there are people that are making a minimum of 2 million naira in cash flow properties from short-let apartments, right? Because of the location of their. There are people that are making much more, but it requires capital, and that's why I told you in the beginning that if you don't have this money to do that by yourself, you can collaborate with your friends. What are sisters for? What are friends for? If you have 10 million naira sitting in your account and you have 7 friends, instead of going out every day to be drinking pami, to be doing girls night out every time, and then we're just talking about hustle, 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 let us also talk about how to invest money and how to make money. And I've told you that if you have some money, you can talk to your friends, and then make sure that you get a lawyer involved, you draw up a contract, and then you can co-invest in short-let apartments or land banking, or you can basically just own rental properties. There are lots of people doing this. There's something about gatekeeping information in Nigeria. Many times people can be making a lot of money from something, but they just don't want to talk about it because, of course, we are all living our lives in private. And I'm really happy that these days, at least the Gen Z generation has taught us how to speak up about things and just help our neighbors. So I think that those are the 3 principal areas that you'd be looking at if you're looking if you'd be looking into you should be looking into if you're looking at investing in real estate as a middle income earner. I've taken the simplest options and presented to us in this class, because there are so many other options, but I feel like these are the 3 simplest areas that we can all look at if we're trying to invest in the real estate market. Co-invest with your friends, do land banking, and then, of course, short-let apartments.
Wow, thank you so much, Esther. Like, I've learned a whole lot and I have a few questions. So, I want to begin by asking you to tell us more about your real estate company. Like you rightly said, when it comes to investing in real estate, there are a lot of scams and all that. You need to do your due diligence. And I know you, so I can vouch for you. So please tell us about your real estate company so that when we are coming to invest and we're looking for where to invest, because I know you don't just work from only Akwa Ibom. I know you also work in Abuja and some other places around the
Yeah.
country. So tell us what you do, tell us what investment opportunities are available in your company and how we can invest.
Okay, so my company is Resta Bridge Limited. We have about 2 other sub companies. One is our shortlet apartments arm. So we have shortlet apartments, and then we also have my partner.ng, which is something for low income earners to be able to own properties. So, but they have to save every single day. So, if you know that you have the discipline, number one, and the cash flow to be able to save 5,000 naira every day in a year, you can own a plot of land here in Uyo. My partner.ng is actually a cooperative. So, like I said, it's basically different people coming together, and the target for that product money partner is low income earners. So, but you need to have the discipline to save every single day. So, if you save 5,000 naira every day, in 1 year, you would have saved about 1.8 million or thereabout, and then you can own a property. Secondly, Resta Bridge is actually our property development arm. So we have 2 estates in the city of Uyo, and we operate a brokerage in Abuja. So if you want to get a plot of land in the city of Abuja, you can reach out to us at Resta Abuja. We can help you source properties, make sure that proper due diligence is done on the property, and then we can even handle consultations with you, but they are paid sessions. Consultations are paid. We handle consultations with you and do recommendations on what you should invest in. That's if you're a resident in Abuja. If you're looking to invest in the city of Uyo, we have two projects currently, one on the airport road and one off Ring Road 3. Price ranges from 1.8 million to about 6 million naira, depending on the kind of plots that you are buying. I also mentioned the option of money partner, the option for you to own real estate over a period of 1 year, 12 months by saving every single day, right? So those are the options that I have. Generally, I'm a lawyer. I'm first a lawyer. I love that calling. So I'm very passionate about dealing with real properties, right? And I love due diligence. Real estate due diligence is one of the most interesting parts of my day, right? I spend my days doing it. So I would always advise people to look out for. You might not buy from us, right? You don't necessarily have to buy from me. Whenever I speak at um, events or people's platforms, I don't really go there to say, "Oh, come and buy from me." I just like to preach the message of real estate because, like as you can see, I'm very passionate about real estate. I love to preach the message, and I just like to always tell people what to look out for, whether or not wherever they are buying from. Always look out for this, and at the end of the day, I'm sure you're going to be fine.
Thank you. Thank you. So you also mentioned about when investing in real estate, they need to have a lawyer and a surveyor. So can you guide us on the cost implication on an average if I want to get a lawyer for to invest in real estate with or a surveyor? What's the average cost I should be budgeting towards?
Honestly, that's not a question I can answer. That's because cost is actually subjective. So it depends on who you're reaching out to, right? And then it depends on the value of the. Most times, it actually depends on the value of the property you want to buy. So if you're buying a property of maybe 3 million naira and you're asking a lawyer to do due diligence on that property for you, the what the lawyer is going to charge is going to be different from when you're contacting a
Yeah.
lawyer to do due diligence on a 100 million naira property. So I can't really give a straightforward answer because it's subjective. Also, surveyors, the cost is also subjective. It also depends on the particular surveyor that is doing that due diligence for you, and many times the kind of property that they are working with. But many times, lowest, you say we won't buy property of 2 million, suppose then they keep nothing below 100,000, 200K for due diligence, because due diligence is saving you from losing the money now. There's a
Yeah.
problem with Nigerians. We don't like preventive, we like
Yeah.
restorative, or that's why doctors can say do this to be healthy. People will not
Yeah.
do it until they get sick, and then they will
Yeah.
spend millions of naira. So it's actually the same thing. Ex- from experience, right? It's really the same thing. Someone wants to buy a property of 20 million, and then you're saying, oh, this is XY amount you need to pay for me to conduct. And they're like, what? Why do I have to spend 300K on for you to check out the property for me? I said, oh, you prefer to lose 10 million naira than. So I can't really give like a number. It really depends on the particular property and the professionals that are involved in the situation.
Okay, thank you. So, for instance, if I want to get a property through you, through your organization, your company, will I still have to pay for the legal fee and for the surveyor fee,
Esther
or
Rock
is
has
it
a lot.
inclusive?
Esther Rock has a lot. If you're getting a property from Resta Bridge Limited, that's our own
Yeah.
project, right?
Yes.
You would even have to get an external. If you want to do proper due diligence, this is how it works.
Okay.
You have to get an external lawyer and an external surveyor to actually do the due diligence. It's not me as a lawyer, because it's my property. I already have a bias. I already have an interest in the property, right? So you need to get someone externally. Do you understand? So I wouldn't
Yeah.
even charge you for that because it's my property. But if, for
Mm,
example, I told you we operate as a brokerage in Abuja. So if you now Esther Rock as a lawyer is different from Resta Abuja as a company.
mm,
In Resta
mm,
Abuja, I'm a realtor, right? So that's very different from me being a lawyer. If you want me to conduct due diligence for you, you're going to have to pay me as a lawyer.
Yeah.
That's how it works. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Okay. Okay. That's lovely. Esther, I just want to say thank you
Sorry, can I
for
say
this
something there?
session.
Can I say
Yes,
something
yes,
there?
yes,
But
yes.
when I operate as a brokerage in Abuja, every single property I put out, before I put out that property, if you go to our page, you'd see that we don't even have so many properties that we market. That's because before we put out any property, we have actually done our due diligence. And that's one of the reasons why clients love us so much. I think there's just this confidence that comes with people knowing that you're a lawyer and that you're
Yeah.
someone who cares about who has integrity and who cares about what they are doing. Because of course, if you sell a property that is problematic and you're a brokerage, you the broker, the client is always going to come to you first before they go to the developer. Yeah, so
Mm,
that's one thing that I can always assure people. If you're getting a property through us, right, in the city of Abuja, where we operate as a brokerage right now,
mm.
be sure I can give you 100% assurance that those properties due diligence has properly been conducted on them. So that's just what I
Okay.
wanted.
Okay. So for if I want to get a property now through Resta Abuja, all I need to do is it go to the website?
No, 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 there's a page on Instagram, Resta Abuja on Instagram.
Oh, okay. The Resta Abuja is on Instagram.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Then also for the My Partner NG,
There's
how
a
do
website
we okay.
www.mypartner.
Okay. So what I wanted to ask is there the option of paying does it have to be like 5,000 every day, or can I pay the value of 1 month, for instance, if I can't afford to
Oh
be paying
yes,
daily?
you can pay the
Okay.
value of 1 month. You can pay the value of 1 month. The idea
Mm,
is for you to be able to do that conveniently. So if you, there are people who pay a month is like 150,000, I think, and
yeah.
5,000 naira. So if you have that on one day, you just pay it off. So there's that option definitely. There is.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. That's good. Okay, so Esther, thank you so much for this. I would say the takeout from this session is the fact that you've mentioned various ways in which we can invest in real estate, being the fractional real estate, land banking, and buying utility properties. Also, you talked about shortlets. Then also the fact that it's important to do due diligence, to have a lawyer, to get a surveyor. And I've really learned a lot, and I believe everyone watching also would also have their takeaway from this session. So I just want to say thank you, and I would personally be reaching out to you because I'm definitely going to invest through your company. Thank you so much for your time. And thank you for all you do. I love the passion. I love what you do. I've been following what you do. And that's why when I thought of this topic, the only person that came to mind was you. So well done to you. Well done to your husband. Well done to your team. We appreciate what you do.
Thank you so much, ma. I'm so grateful. Thank you for bringing me on the show. This was
Thank
an
you
amazing
too. Thank
time.
you. Thank you. Thank you for everyone too that joined this session. I believe you've had great takeaways, and I also hope that you would invest. 2025 can't afford to end without us being investing in real estate. It will just be a very, very big flaw on our part if after this session we don't go back to invest. So thank you for your time and wishing you all a lovely night's rest. Good night.
Thank you. Bye. Good night.
Bye.